Good evening. Please bear with the voice. This is Monday, October 13th, 22 days until the 2008 presidential election. In terms of substance among the milestones of this campaign, Governor Palin's speech at Richmond, Virginia this afternoon was not much. In terms of symbolism, it may turn out to be everything. Our fifth story on the countdown, the Republican vice presidential candidate inadvertently lashing out at her own very supporters who were encouraging her to speak louder. At the campaign rally in Richmond, the governor mistaking shouts of louder from supporters in the back who could not hear her. Other supporters, perhaps assuming the onslaught from those who are not like us had finally beset the governor, trying to drown out the shouts with cheers of "Sarah, Sarah," the governor interrupting her prepared remarks, apparently to admonish her own crowd.
Those Americans are struggling under the weight of the wrong mortgage. Protesters have the courage and the honor of thanking our veterans for giving them the right to protest. Okay, I'm doing that.
Those weren't protesters, those were your own supporters. Governor Palin choosing to pretty much ignore the protests of the crowd in Philadelphia, though, on Saturday when the self-named hockey mom stepped out onto the ice to drop the ceremonial first puck for the Flyers home opener. She thought putting her 7-year-old daughter Piper in a Flyers jersey was going to be enough to prevent any booing. She apparently did not consult with former Philadelphia Phillies catcher Bob Uecker, who claimed that one Easter Sunday, when the players staged an egg hunt for their own children, the fans booed the kids who did not find any eggs. They went to an anti-Palin rally and a hockey game broke out. And we haven't even discussed the polls yet. Washington Post, Obama by 10 among likely voters. More voters now trusting Obama to handle the, quote, unexpected major crisis, an unexpected unnamed major crisis, not just the economy, 48-45. Senator Obama also now seen as the safer choice for president, safer. In the Newsweek survey, the Democrat leading by 11 among registered voters. But don't worry, Senator McCain claiming he's got his opponent and the media, if not the electorate necessarily, right where he wants them.
We have 22 days to go. We're 6 points down. The national media has written us off. They forgot to let you decide. My friends, we've got them just where we want them.
Senator Obama, meanwhile, today unveiling the specifics of a new economic plan, something the McCain campaign having claimed over the weekend Senator McCain would do today, then did not. It now claims the Republican might do that tomorrow. At a rally in Toledo, the Democratic nominee with his own strategy on how to deal with the booing of the other candidate by his crowd.
My opponent has made his choice. No, we don't need that. Last week, we just need to vote. That's what we need to do.
Time to call in our own Richard Wolffe, also, of course, senior White House correspondent for Newsweek magazine. Richard, good evening.
Good evening, Keith.
Based especially on what Governor Palin ran into in Richmond today, it's hard to tell who's yelling for the Republican campaign these days and who's yelling against them, isn't it?
Yes, you know, when things go wrong, they tend to go very, very wrong. And the problem here isn't just one of setting, although you've got to ask why the campaign would put any candidate out at a sporting event at this stage. But, you know, with these crowds, the candidate should at least be aware of the kinds of sound problems and everything else that's moving, given the ugly spirit we saw last week. And look, you've got to look at the kind of reactions they're getting and wonder what kind of response there is inside this campaign. You know, when you hear Bill Kristol saying fire the campaign, it tends to have an effect of hydrochloric acid right in campaign headquarters.
And of course, campaign headquarters responded by saying he's clearly buying the Obama message. Bill Kristol is in the tank for Senator Obama.
In the tank, along with the rest of the media.
Well, all right. Senator McCain, meanwhile, the actual message they were trying to get out was that the whole of the media had written him off, that Obama's measuring the drapes, that he's got them, McCain's got them right where he wants them. Which segment of the electorate is that supposed to convince? Who does that speak to other than the base?
Well, I don't even know if it convinces the base, because the base doesn't quite like seeing Obama 10, 11 points ahead. The problem here, there's nothing wrong with having the fighting spirit. In fact, I actually thought the general message, the theme of it, is just fine. The question is, who are you fighting against? And that was never elaborated in the speech, hasn't been elaborated in the campaign. If they're trying to echo Hillary Clinton from earlier on in the year, you're arguing you're fighting against the system, you're fighting against the economic malaise. But right now, it seems that voters aren't interested in thrashing around and fighting. They want stability, because it's the volatility that's unsettling. It's not a doldrums period. There's too much going on.
And to that point of volatility, we heard all weekend Senator McCain would be unveiling a new economic plan today. He didn't. Now, the last word is he's probably going to do one tomorrow. Is that indicative of how volatile the McCain campaign itself has become?
Well, remember, this is a campaign driven by message first, and if not country first. And what you're seeing here is, at very least, a lack of message discipline. You don't put out Senator Lindsey Graham, one of the candidate's closest friends, to tease this new economic policy and rollout, and then pull back. I understand today they said there'd be a town hall meeting and then took no questions. So, you know, when something goes wrong, everything tends to go wrong when you're 10 points behind, which is, of course, just where they want to be, according to the candidate.
Yeah, just speak louder. The last point here, these polls, that Obama is now seen as better able to handle an unexpected major crisis in the Washington Post. Safer choice for president than McCain. Could we be moving into a phase where Obama is seen not just stronger on the economy, but on everything else, too? Has he, in a terrible irony here, wound up as the proverbial 3 a.m. phone call candidate?
Well, I think that's what this whole test was about. I don't think people have been evaluating the various warring policy proposals, or in fact Obama's speech today. He did give some economic details today. It's about how people react in a crisis and the leadership that they think that brings. Now, of course, a trip up by Obama in these last couple of weeks could overhaul that idea, and it would have to be, I think, self-inflicted at this stage. But voters are looking at how they respond, and what they've seen is something that is closer to the mood, which is a sort of sea of calm when everything else seems like it's in turmoil.
Richard Wolffe of Newsweek and MSNBC. As always, Richard, great thanks for your time tonight.
Thank you.